The reason I beg to differ in the kind of way I'll
Right.
put it is looking at the problem from a different place. I think the problem is not really about age.
Okay.
It's not really an issue of how old or how young you are.
Hmm.
Should there be younger people in places? Yeah, but
Yeah.
there is a certain suffix to it which you don't add. It's competent and patriotic.
Right.
I do have someone I love so much, Professor PLO Lumumba,
Right.
someone I really revere and I look up to in a lot of different kind of ways.
Right.
So if he was to be made president of say my country,
Right.
Cameroon, hopefully
Hopefully.
he's Kenyan. Yeah, but I do love him. Shout
Okay.
out to Professor PLO Lumumba.
Hey.
You're inspiring us.
Mhm.
I think even though I'm much younger than him, I wouldn't take that position because I'm not as competent as him based
Right.
on the knowledge he has.
Right.
And there's a certain thing we need to understand. If you look at things like
Hmm.
car companies release new cars every year.
Right.
Yeah, but you will never see a car company release a very radical car. They kind of release like a small variation of the previous car. So
Right.
if you look at 2015 to 2016 version, they have some similarities. So we can think about getting away all the old system as a way to go, but that's not how change works.
Hmm.
Change works in the smallest of ways. And why I bring that up is because culturally as African, we have learned to deal with older people as our leaders.
That's
It
true.
makes us more comfortable.
Right.
It makes us listen to them.
Hmm.
But now the problem is we got puppets
Hmm.
and people who have no love for their country,
Right.
no love for their people. We have these people ruling in places they shouldn't be, as I'll say.
Right.
So that is the problem. The problem is not an age issue. The problem is a patriotic issue.
Right.
And do you really love your people? And are you okay putting your head on the line for your people?
But
That's
still, I agree with you on that. But still, don't you think we need more people, young people who are woke, to basically be in such position in the government? Why not? And with this, the other younger people who are still learning who they are in regards to their identity
okay.
will definitely follow that train.
Okay. So I'll tell you something very funny,
Right.
which is very interesting. So Africa got its independence. Africa got its pseudo semi-independence in the 1960s. So brushed all of that from some came from the 59s,
Right.
60 like Kenya, 61 for Cameroon,
Right.
I think 60 for Nigeria,
Right.
Ghana too should be same around the 60s. We all got our independence around those lines from, and the people fighting for us were really young people.
Right.
Yeah, the Lumumbas, Sankaras,
Yeah.
there was a really young people. But what happened along the line? Take for example Cameroon, Mr. Paul Biya. Mr. Paul Biya came into public service when he was 27,
Right.
became president when he was 30 something or no 40 something around that range, right?
Yeah.
A young president with young ideas, right? You will
Yeah.
say,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
How did it end up? A crazy experiment, a very bad experiment. So
No, because he was their puppet from the beginning. So it wasn't about them being young or old like you're talking about. He was all Africa. These people have always been designed as puppets. The Europeans have always
Right.
installed them in the country through their bidding to make sure Africa resources go to benefit European power. All embassies throughout Africa have CIA attendants already in to make sure that any of these African